You see the headline. You know how this goes. Let's get into it. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to disarm Hamas violently amid moves by the group to reassert control over the Gaza Strip, targeting what is called collaborators. Speaking to reporters on Tuesday, Trump said if Hamas failed to disarm within a reasonable period of time, then we will disarm them. He did not say when he expects the group to surrender its weapons. He never does. He leaves everything very vague because he enjoys posturing, because that's how he defines and exhibits his masculinity, his manhood. His comments came as footage circulated online showing a public execution and other displays of force by Hamas fighters in Gaza since the U.S. brokered ceasefire began last week. The execution, which BBC verified, geolocated to a junction in central Gaza City, follows Hamas's pledge to crush lawlessness in the Strip. Other verified clips have shown armed men wearing insignia identifying them as members of Hamas's internal security force on patrol and fighters firing on unarmed men. I have my reservations on if they were actually Hamas or not, but we can discuss that at a later time. Analysts told BBC Verify that the show of force is at least partially intended to counter armed clans which have increasingly challenged the group's hold on the Strip over the past 2 years. Tensions between Hamas and some of the groups it is now fighting stretch back before the war. Some, like the Dugmash clan, have historically been involved in smuggling over the Strip's border with Israel, an expert told BBC Verify. Recent clashes between Dugmash and Hamas left more than 50 people dead, including 12 Hamas members. Israel has previously said it has supplied weapons to other armed groups in the Strip. One Hamas internal security unit recently pledged to eradicate gangs and militias it accused of cooperating with the enemy. A clip which emerged on Monday afternoon showed Hamas fighters executing a group of 8 men. BBC Verified geolocated the footage to a junction in the central Zaytun neighborhood in Gaza City, which had been the focus of a major Israeli ground offensive in recent weeks but is now back under Hamas control after the Israeli military withdrawal. Fighters, some of whom were wearing body armor and Hamas headband could be seen in the footage lining the men up in front of a large crowd which appeared to include at least one young child. After forcing the men to their knees, crowds could be heard shouting collaborator or agent. The assembled fighters then opened fire on the bound men, who fell to the ground. Afterwards, the men fired into the air and shouted, "Long live Al-Qassam Brigades," Hamas's military wing. This is sounding very scripted. Another verified video showed masked and armed fighters forcing a man to his knees in the middle of the same Zaytun junction before shooting him in the leg. Several other gunshots also rang out, followed by screams, but the footage doesn't show whether others were attacked. In the aftermath of the footage, several armed men stand guard around the injured man, waving away onlookers who witnessed the incident. This sounds like a ploy for Israel to continue their occupation and genocide. It's my take on it. It is not clear what prompted the incident, which first emerged online on October 10th. Google image searches returned no earlier results. Palestinians who spoke to the BBC expressed fear at the public executions. If this was Hamas, why would the Palestinians be fearful? Why are people cheering for chaos? A masked man kills another masked man without any proof, without investigation, without a court, without even a waiting period for appeal. What do we call this? Resistance? No. This is lawlessness, a lawyer living in Gaza said. You can't correct one mistake with another. One activist living in central Gaza Strip added, executions without fair trial are a crime. May God guide our people. Meanwhile, members of Hamas' internal security force have also been deployed across Gaza City to show a force by the group. 2 such fighters, supporting the insignia of internal security units and armed with rifles, could be seen in several images geolocated by BBC Verify stationed at a crossroad in Gaza City. something doesn't smell right in the state of Denmark. But as always, let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts, in the comments.